we have to look at what actually constitutes Moloch worship. It's kind of hard to put a grasp on it because there is no religious group anywhere in the world that I know of, maybe in some underground type society, that admits Moloch worship. Now, I do point the finger at today's Jews, because they seem to be acting upon what might have been Moloch worship. Now, Moloch worship is actually a Canaanite religion, which the ancient Jews supposedly brought into their beliefs of the time. And what I think we are seeing now, because there is no continuous line from ancient Israelites to modern Israelites, or Israelis or Jews, there's no relation. So the hereditary line is not continuous. So the legends and stories passed from father to son cannot apply to today's Jews because they are not descendants of the ancient Israelites. And what we have now is probably what I would call neo-Molochism. And this seems to be a combination of whatever Canaanite beliefs were available from history, plus Sabbateanism. Now, when you look at Sabbateanism, we had this supposed belief that Sabbatai Savi was the Messiah of the Jews in the 1600s. And after him, we saw another version of Sabbateanism through Jacob Frank. So it's supposed to be a continuous line. And indeed, it's supposedly, though no one will talk about it, goes back to Simon Magus, from the time of Jesus Christ. But there is no possible line of ancestry from that time to today's Jews. So what we are seeing is a reconstituted type of philosophy. The interesting thing is how do they place Moloch? Remember, Jews believe their God is merely the dead souls of Jews who went to heaven and combined into some single entity. And their aim, again, which they don't want to tell us, is to bring the Moshiach, or Messiah, their Messiah, not yours, back to earth through using kabbalah. Now, to hear such things, you think, oh, this is a pipe dream. But what we have to consider is how history has been rewritten and portrayed, and how it's been portrayed through what medium. If you look at TV, movies, there is a large proportion of Jewish control. 90% of the pornography industry in the United States is run by Jews. This is a simple fact. And if it offends people, then so be it. But we see a combination of today's Jews who are mostly atheists, elite whites, and indeed we will see, I suspect, the Chinese come into this, because Jews and Chinese get on pretty well actually. When you look at today's China, it's a nominal communist country, but it's about money. And when you look at Judaism with its more recent discovery of Chinese Jews, this is enough to hook them in, so to speak. Because remember, Jews look at things on a global basis. They believe this earth in this world is Israel, and it belongs to them, and we are just slaves. Oh, we're not even slaves, because they consider themselves to be a different species to us. So we're more like domesticated animals. Now, when you look at the rewriting of history, we only have to look, or we can still see where it's occurring. Syria and Iraq. Now, 2003, the United States invades Iraq. And a lot of the ancient monuments from the museums, the whole lot was looted. And the wars that have been occurring since within Iraq, especially with ISIS. Now, ISIS love destroying anything remotely ancient. The same thing occurs in Syria. Anything remotely ancient, especially pertaining to religion, is destroyed. And you've got to ask, for whose benefit would they destroy these things? So we are seeing a rewriting of history. Because if you destroy all historical records, just like the Romans did in ancient Jerusalem, when they destroyed the Second Temple and destroyed all the genealogy records, then anything pertaining to the descendants of that period, you can just make it up as you go along, and no one can prove you right or prove you wrong. This is what it's about. So, some people may ask, why do Jews hate Christianity? Because Jesus Christ, an aspect of God, born through a human mother, who came to this earth and went back up to heaven. When you look at the kabbalah type setup in relation to them, they believe they can grab God and bring him down to earth. That is, they can get the dead Jews and bring their souls back here to Israel. So, to say the Abrahamic faiths are all related is just simply wrong. So, this is why the image and teachings of Jesus Christ are being distorted, corrupted, to make him into a lesser person compared to whoever the next Moshiach would be, or compared to all the dead Jews who are supposedly going to be brought back to earth. And we are dealing with, I'd have to say it's a psychosis. It's the same reason why the Jews are behind mass immigration into white countries. Now, I'll look at it this way. If people around the world get upset because, let's say, the panda bear is becoming extinct, why would they not be upset when a racial group is going extinct as well? And it is. White people are being outbred and outpopulated. And as for multiculturalism, which Jews love to expound and proclaim is the only way for this earth to function, when you look at the European nations or nationalities and their cultures, if they go extinct, those cultures will be gone. So you won't be having multiculturalism, you'll be having more towards a monoculture. This is planned extermination. Pandas go extinct or going extinct. Oh, we must do everything to save them because we need to plan this. White people going extinct. Oh, they're all a bunch of Nazis and all that. But look at it this way. The Jews claim the title of Semites. They claim to be the same, well, not quite the same. But you say, what are Jews? And say, oh, well, Jews are Semites. If the white peoples, and it's not only Europe, you've got Iran as well. They come under Aryan. So let's say, considering all the wars Jewish-led countries want to engage in, and Iran is at the top of the list. If the whites are gone and title of Semite is deemed to be a default for them, would they not try and push themselves off as Aryan Semites? And what has surprised me, I think the Jews want to be the only white people. And now you look at Jews now, some of them pass as European, and a lot of them have like hook noses and woggy hair and stuff like that. So they couldn't especially pass as that. But if they are put into a position to rewrite history, they very well could pass themselves as Aryan Semites. But the only way they can do that is because of mercenary traitors amongst all races and all cultures. And people will do anything for money. This is a simple fact now. And they don't care where they get it. So, regardless of whether or not you are offended, I had to say these things because these things are true. And Moloch worship is really neo-Moloch worship, and this is an interesting part. Jews will not tell you who their God is. They say, no, we can't say that. It's too sacred. So they're supposedly worshipping an unnamed God. But what if their God is Moloch? Now you understand why they don't want to mention the name, and will only mention it amongst themselves. So, so Moloch is psychotic, and one other, I don't know what you would call Jews. They're not religious because they're atheists. They're not an ethnicity. They're not a racial group because they're too varied. But one other grouping of people are also known for their psychoticness. One other people basically had psychiatry and psychology created by one of their own in order to try and cure them. So if you want to ask what is Moloch worship, unfortunately as it stands, Judaism, Ashkenazi Judaism, fits that criteria. But we can't say it's Jews alone. We have all religions around the world corrupting themselves, and they have followed similar type ideologies. Christianity, Islam, and I tell you what, the Chinese will get on so with the Jews. And maybe, besides money's the reason they have been recruited, Chinese engage in ancestor worship. The very same thing that Jews engage in now. But the Chinese only worship those within their bloodline. So, parents, grandparents, great-grandparents. Jews do it as a block. Or dead Jews in heaven, or I suspect limbo. And they worship the ancestors as a whole. So really, when they talk about heaven and stuff like that, and kabbalah, all they're really engaging is really, at the end of the day, what they hope to engage in is necromancy. But on YouTube, my channel, Leon 14, I've done a fair whack of clips concerning these sorts of things. Necromancy, kabbalah, Satanism, Kiliasm, which is what Christianity has devolved into. But I just did this for those of you who wanted to have an insight into what's going on now, and it is going on.